Hey guys, so I want to do a serious video here. Unlike my unlike my other videos that are just kind of like super funny and stuff like that. Well, at least I would hope. I did a Destiny 1 video a while back on Destiny 1 strikes ranked worst the best. It was like early this year. I think it was in like January or February, and I went through all the Destiny 1 strikes and ranked them all. I want to do that with Destiny 2. So in total, there's 17 strikes in the game. I think about 5 of which being reskin story missions, so it really is only 12 strikes in a game, but, okay, let me readjust that. Okay, yeah, so there really is only like 12 strikes in the game, but yeah, let's go and get into it. So number 17 is going to belong, well, really both of these kind of match in terms of, for me, is Tree of Probabilities. I don't like this strike. It is such a fucking snooze fest. I think the only cool area of it is the Sparrow Racing area, but other than that, I just really don't like this strike. I think it's boring. I think it's overall just shit. Um, Garden World is actually very cool because, well, I'm sorry, one section of it is cool, and that's the area where you get to go to the past, was it? Where it's all like green and shit, or is that's not the future, it's the past, I think. Like tons of greenery, it looks really beautiful, but other than that, it's a really fucking boring strike, and it's just a reskin story mission, I think, right? I don't fucking remember the Christmas Osiris story missions. Okay, number 15 is going to belong to a very popular strike, and that is, where's that? Oh wait, no, it's not on IO. What am I fucking thinking? Shit, where's it at? Fuck. Here it is, Exodus Crash. This is a well hated on strike to the point where at one point they actually fucking removed it from the strike playlist because people didn't like it. Um, I think so, at least. I think they did a while back in year one. Um, but I don't. Did they really make any changes to it? Because it still fucking sucks. The boss is going invis constantly. He's not like always up, so you can't damage him whenever. And it's just a really fucking annoying boss fight. Tons of just stupid shit. It's really annoying. Um, and it's just fucking bullshit. I don't like the strike. It's really boring. It just has boring objectives, and I don't enjoy it whatsoever. Number 14 is another Nessus strike, kind of common theme here. And that is... Where the fuck is that? Inside Terminus. This is a Warmind strike. And once again, it just kind of fucking sucks. I don't like this strike either. It's just boring. And I don't know. I just don't like it. It's just kind of hard to explain. I just don't really like this strike. Warmind and Crystal Osiris had some really fucking shitty strikes, as you can see. Um, the next one is going to belong to um, a strike. No, nope, not in there. Definitely not in there. Called Strange Terrain. I'm not a big fan of this strike. I don't really like it. It's just a reskin story mission, and I feel like this should have been like a raid boss or like a second or like a first raid boss. If there's going to be two raid bosses, this should have been the first, and then Zol, wherever the hell that bastard is, Zol should have been the main raid final boss. That would have been super cool, but instead these things are shoved into strikes and story missions and are basically reskinned missions. So once again, Strange Terrain is going on number 13, and Will of the Thousands is going on number 12. These are literally just the story missions, but repurposed strikes, and they're really fucking boring, and they're kind of cool at times, but not really. I'm not a big fan of them, and yeah. Number 10 is going to strike, which I'm kind of indifferent on. I don't really care. Sabathin's Song, I'm not a big fan of this strike. I think the archaeology area is really fucking cool. I think the boss fight arena is super cool. It has some pretty fun mechanics to it, but in general, I just don't really enjoy it too much. I know people are probably going to hate on me for like not really giving reasons, but I don't really have a reason. I just don't enjoy the strike. I think it's just kind of boring, I guess. And that's something you'll see with a lot of these strikes compared to D1. Number 9 is going to be a strike, well, once again, that I find a little too quick and a little too easy, and that is Lake of Shadows. Lake of Shadows, when it first came out, was a really cool strike. It was takenated, it was on the EDZ, you're going into a completely new-ass area you can't go and patrol, and it's a pretty fucking awesome strike. But the problem is that it's really fucking short, and it's way too fucking easy. The boss is balls deep easy. You can fuck him up really quick. He has so little amounts of health. But if you do manage not to fuck him up, there's basically no cover, which is a big problem I have with a lot of strikes, with a couple of exceptions like Sunless Cell. that they don't have any cover, and it just feels like it's fucking bullshit, and that, you know, they should be doing what they do with like the Pyramidion and hell, even a Garden World, where the cover is constantly shifting, and you know, you don't stay in the same place, but you have cover. Cover is an important part of these, and you just don't have fucking cover for shit in League of Shadows, and it's really annoying. So it kind of forces people to melt the boss, which I don't know. Alright, this is where we actually start getting into good strikes. And number 8 is coming in with Broodhold. This is a really cool looking strike. It is a really cool strike. It's a hive strike, and you go in, and there's all sorts of like worm everywhere, or worm shit everywhere. You need to take these fuckers and shove them in the little penis fucks. And the thing that I really, really like about this is the boss. It's really, really cool. It splits up into like 2 wizards, like a dark wizard and like a you know, normal wizard. It's really, really cool, and they both have their own damage pools, so you have to kill them both. And they have some really, really cool mechanics to them. And in general, it's just like a really cool strike. It's really simple. It's really fun, and that's what I want out of the strikes. Is stuff that's like fun and really simple. That's my main thing with strikes. I don't want them to be, you know, fucking raids, basically. I want them to have, you know, at least some mechanics to them, but they're not like, you know, fucking no cover and shit, right? I want them to be intense, but I also want them to be, you know, fun at the end of the day. You know, I don't want it to be overly difficult and just be, I don't know. You get what I'm trying to say? Like, I don't want it to, I like it to be difficult, but in terms of like going into like a regular strike, whatever, I don't really think it should be. Yeah. Number 7, this is when I actually start liking these fucking strikes. And number 7 is going to belong, wait, no, wrong planet, to, oh, here it is, the Pyramidion. I really, really like this strike. Tons of like really, really cool dialogue between our kind of like Cora and Asher, kind of hammering out, I guess, and, you know, making jokes at each other and shit like that. And you're basically infinitely descending into this giant unknown vault of glass, kind of mysterious sort of area. It's not vault of glass mysterious, but it is, you know, relatively close, and you're constantly going down and down and down and down, and so, and it really, really feels like a dungeon in that fact, that you just keep going down and down, until you get to the end where you fight a giant hobgoblin, and that guy can get pretty fucking lethal towards the end. He really can. And it's some really, really cool areas. It's fun, it's simple, it's got some cool puzzle-like areas that lots of dumb people die at. And for Nightfalls and stuff, this can get pretty intense. And I really like the strike. Simple, fun, and intense, and I love it. And yeah, next one is going to be actually a brand new strike that came out a month ago that I haven't heard anything about, and that's the Festering Core. This strike is really fucking cool. It is Takenated. My favorite faction in the entire game of Destiny is the Taken, and you know, you're running through and you're fighting Taken, and you're doing these little platform things that are really, really cool and unique, and it kind of reminds me more of like a Takenated Vault of Glass kind of vibe to it. And I've said that a lot, but you know, and then you face like a Taken Centurion, and there's tons of like Taken goo and shit around. It's really fucking beautiful and in its own disgusting kind of way. And it's a really, really cool strike. And yeah, so now we get into the top 5. These are the strikes that I really, really like. Unfortunately, the strikes in this game just simply aren't as fun and aren't as good as the Destiny 1 strikes, and that kind of sucks. But these strikes are the ones that come actually close to me to Destiny 1. And number 5 is going to be one of the most D1-like strikes. This and the next one are the most D1-like strikes in the entire game, and that is going to be the Armstealer. This is a really, really cool strike. It's got, you know, you fight a tank in it. You fucking use a little area you can go by your Spire and skip past. It's actually kind of a quick strike, but the ending can get really hectic and really just intense as fuck, of all the dogs and shit like that running around at you, and you got Scions launching you to the airs, and you have, you know, Centurions and Legionaries just straight up shooting you. It gets pretty fucking intense. And of course the boss on higher difficulties for Nightfall is going to be really fucking lethal with a sniper rifle. You got to take cover, you got to watch out. It's intense, it's fun. There's actually cover for you to dip into, but you can't stay at that same piece of cover at all time. You got to keep moving around. And in general, it's a really fucking awesome strike, and it feels like an actually good strike in this game that feels a lot like Destiny 1. And number 4 here is going to be actually the primary strike of Destiny 2's beta, and that is the Inverted Spire. You basically face a ginormous minotaur at the end. We've seen that before, but you know, it's super fucking cool. It's actually a really D1 like strike as well, but you go across some beautiful areas with beautiful music and tons of really cool areas, and you're fighting Red Legion and you're fighting Vex, and it's really fucking cool. And you're just kind of moving through, doing your own thing, you know. And you launch these fucking launch pads all the time, and you go down, and you have like Scions sniping at you, but usually you just avoid them. And then there's like these drills that come over, and dumb fucks will die there, but you can actually go and sparrow past them as well. It's a pretty quick strike, and the last part can get pretty intense. Really, the boss is pretty easy until you blow his head off, and then he kind of goes into full rage mode. And after that, you gotta kill him quick because it gets really intense. There's actual cover, but he's rushing you. The enemies are getting ready to shoot at you, so it gets intense. It's fun, and yeah. So the big three, baby. The big three. This is it. Dreaming City, Corrupted. This strike, oh my Jesus, fuck. This strike is master level. My God. This is one of my favorite strikes in Destiny history. It is truly amazing. Just the amount of puzzles and depth and the actual like good mechanics to there, and the areas, the beautiful areas. The Dreaming City in general is absolutely beautiful, and you're moving through, and you know eventually at the end you get the kill. Wizard, but it has some cool like story implication behind it basically, and she can like lift you up in the air like Callie or Khalil, whatever her fucking name was in The Last Wish, and it is really fucking awesome. It's like I said, it's fun as hell. You're constantly descending tons of cool little ascendant realm portals and shit. And there's a part where you're fighting an ogre, and all of a sudden it casts you to like the ascendant plane dimension. You have to fight that same ogre, except it's taken you. You have a bunch of other taken enemies around you, and then it casts you back to the regular dimension sort of thing. And you have to keep going back and forth until you kill both of the bosses. And if you're in a taken area, it actually spawns a portal for you to go out and then go back into like a taken blight sort of thing, and go back into the regular dimension. And it's such a fucking awesome strike, and I love it. Number 2 is going to be the, also the other strike came out, Scarlet Keep. Holy fuck. This strike is amazing. The music is godlike. The architecture of the whole place, the Scarlet Keep, is amazing. It's a shame there's only been a couple of things we got to do to really explore the Scarlet Keep in this expansion. I was really hoping you could go up and freely explore it. The objectives are actually fun. The enemies are fun. And the last boss fight can get kind of intense, you know, that Nightfall, I think it was like last week or 2 weeks ago, with the unstoppable ogres and shit, that can get pretty crazy. And there's a bit of cover to it, not a lot, but there still is a bit of cover to get into if you need it. And then there's lots of enemies as well in the boss room. But in general, the area is really fucking cool, moving up, and you're constantly ascending this time. Into areas of the Scarlet Keep, and eventually reaching the tippity top and fighting down Hasheldon, which unfortunately is another Oryx descendant. I think it's the daughter of Oryx, which kind of sucks, or it's like the daughter of Crota or some shit like that. It's related to Oryx, so it kind of sucks to see that is being shoved once again into a strike. But it is really, really cool in general, and I absolutely love the just areas of the strike. It looks amazing. It's super fun. Lots of enemies to kill, you know, and stuff like that. And I just love that fact that we're constantly ascending until we get to the top. That's just a really, really cool thing. And yeah, number 1, if you have done the process of elimination, is going to be a Tangled Short Strike. Guess what, guys? No, I'm not going to do anything. I'm not going to do anything. I'm not going to do anything. Warden of Nothing. Holy fucking shit. I love this strike. Before we get started with that, I missed at number 11, Hollowed Lair. Did I miss that? I think I did. It was basically just a reskin story mission, which, I don't know, it was whatever. I don't really like that strike. The tethering is really fucking annoying. And yeah, there you go. Number 1 is Warden of Nothing. This strike is just full of nostalgia and fun, and the Drifter and the Ghost kind of exchanging dialogue, and it's so much fun. The Prison of Elders nostalgia, and you're constantly fucking moving up just like before, basically. And then eventually you fall down, and the whole Prison of Elders thing, right? You go back into the fucking chest room, you're like, oh my god, it's so nostalgic. And then the fucking, what is it, the Trickster or whatever her name was, ends up setting a trap, and it was just like, fuck, we don't get any loot from that. But then eventually beat the Servitor, which is the Servitor you got to see in the OG Prison of Elders, or the level 41 Prison of Elders, or was it 42? I forget. Back in Destiny 1, the Servitor was basically Varric's, and you got to hear the same voice lines and stuff from him, dismantle mines, yes, and all that cool shit. And it's a really, really cool looking strike. I love the Prison of Elders as a whole, and it's just a fucking awesome strike. I love it. It's so much fucking fun. The train's moving constantly and shit like that. And you got the fucking little mini boss fucking Minotaur. It feels like a World of Warcraft dungeon in that fact. The fact that you face a boss before you kill the other boss. I want to see shit like that. I want to see like a World of Warcraft like match-made dungeon where you're going through and constantly killing bosses after bosses after bosses. There's multiple bosses instead of just, you know, one or two like the other dungeons we have. I'd love to see shit like that. And, you know, not as complicated as raids or dungeons, but not as simple as strikes. I'd love to see that kind of shit. But Warden to Nothing is just a master level of strike. This and Sunless Cell are my favorite strikes in Destiny history. Absolutely incredible. And if you haven't played this strike, what the fuck are you doing? Go play it. It is amazing. And, yeah, peace.